Alongside me, we are going to talk about the controversy surrounding Jason Aldean, country artist Jason Aldean, over a song and video that he released called Try That in a Small Town, which I'm going to break down for you. But Micah, why don't you share with the folks what you know about this controversy, and then I'll fill in some stuff.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I don't know. Darren, I'm coming in cold in the sense of I know there's a controversy. I know that his video was pulled from CMT.
That's correct.
Which is a big deal. But I've never heard or seen the song. I just literally haven't had the time. But it's one of the reasons I love doing this show, because it's like forces us to go into and say, hey, check this. So this is a big deal. There's a lot of things happening, and I've seen a lot of posts with a lot of people having a lot of opinions. So I don't really know what's going on, but it's hot.
I will definitely break it down for you. It's a long story, but I'll give you the top line.
I'm ready.
The top line stuff.
I'm prepared.
So Jason Aldean, who's been around for almost 20 years now, he wrote a song and released it in May, and the name of that song is Try That in a Small Town. Released in May, there was not a whole lot said or known about it. On July 14th, just a week ago, he released a video, and the video is upsetting a lot of folks. And like almost everything in this country, it's a political divide left and right. We're going to try to be as fair and even-keeled about this as possible. And so the challenges with the video, again, we're talking about the video, is that the video features footage of protests and robberies, mostly against the police. And the video is shot in front of a courthouse in Columbia, Tennessee.
So the video is as controversial as the lyrics?
The video is more controversial.
Got it.
So the song itself came out without any fanfare or protest.
Okay.
It's the video that is upsetting, because they filmed it in a courthouse in Columbia, Tennessee, where back in 1927, an 18-year-old black man named Henry Choate was lynched right there. And critics of the song say that the song itself, the lyrics, center around on the divide between people in the cities and rural areas, and shows certain behavior that is only considered on one side, but also promotes violence, because there's mention of, defending your small town with a gun that your granddad gave me. Things of that nature. So CMT, Country Music Television, has pulled it from the rotation.
Do we know if they've ever pulled
They have pulled multiple ones. Oddly enough, two of them were from the Dixie Chicks.
And
one of them
so
was...
then it's not that wild.
It's not that wild.
Yeah. I mean, it's still wild.
One of them was the song Earl. And Earl had to die.
Didn't they pull what's his name song too? Old Town Road. They pulled that.
I don't remember that being pulled, but the Dixie Chicks have had two videos pulled from CMT. So it's not their first time to do this. And that definitely needs to be part of our discussion, because the people in the right are saying it's censorship. However, CMT is a private company, right? They're not a media outlet. So
exactly. It's like when people talk about the NFL, the NBA with John Morant. And it's like, no, dude, you're part of a company, and you can't pull a gun on social media. If I work for Twitter and I'm pulling a gun on social media, I'm going to get in trouble. So CMT is an independent company, and they can make decisions. That's what's happening.
So we definitely have some comments, and again, we're going to try to. We're not here to upset anybody. We're here to discuss it, because it is important.
I don't even know where we're going yet. So I would really be curious, though, and we'll have to do this at a later date, a comparison of why Earl or the Dixie Chicks were pulled and why this was pulled. What's the? I wonder if CMT even has like a release statement as to why, but I'd be really curious the differentiation of why each of those were pulled.
Yeah, absolutely. Reviews. We are going to be discussing the Jason Aldean song, Try That in a Small Town. Again, the song came out, not much was said or done about it. He put out a video, and a lot has been said about it. I will say a couple of things about Jason Aldean if you don't know them about him.
I really don't know that.
Number one, he was the singer on stage in the Las Vegas shooting in 2017 when 60 people were killed. He was the actual person singing. That's number one. Number two, less than 10 years ago, Jason and his friends dressed up for Halloween in blackface. So he has that history, dressed up as Lil Wayne, a rapper. along with his wife, who dressed up from Crazy Eyes from Orange is the New
Clear.
Black.
Clear.
And then Jason, a few years ago, he and his wife started a line of clothing that is patriotic. However, it quite often features like "Let's Go Brandon" type T-shirts. So Jason is not shy, and he said this on Twitter 2 days ago. He's not shy about his political leanings or his political comments. Right. So he has chosen to be a political person. That's a fact.
So him and Kid Rock are chilling these days.
They are probably close friends. Yes. Yeah. So this conversation is not about Jason's history, although I think you have to take that.
No,
that
was really relevant because I knew nothing. So that helps me wrap my head around.
You have to take that into account, and we're going to listen to the lyrics
because then you can set up intent. Otherwise, I don't know. You know.
Absolutely.
You can plead ignorance. Up until that moment, you can plead ignorance, but I don't think so anymore. Their intent has been established.
So we're going to play the song. We're going to pause and talk about it. Mike, I think you should pull up the lyrics, too. The lyrics are fairly...
I actually am very curious.
Yeah, the lyrics are actually quite straightforward in terms of country song, and the music and the structure of the song is not anything...
Straight-laced. Okay.
Yeah, anything original. I will tell you this, that Jason Aldean did not write the song. He had like 3 people write this song for him, which I think is fairly standard for him.
I'm sure.
But obviously he sang it. So we will pause that.
He's the front of it. Okay.
We will listen to it.
Okay. Well, everybody. So this is what's it called? Try that.
Try that in a small town by Jason Aldean.
Jason Aldean. Let's have a listen. Aaron, you should love that guitar.
I love the guitar.
Oh God, look at it.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. I can't watch the lyrics and the video at the same time though, so it's gonna be video.
Sucker punch somebody on a sidewalk, carjacking old lady at a red light, pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. You think it's cool, act a fool if you like, cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stomp on the flag and light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough. Well, try that in a small town, see how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town. Got a gun that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're gonna round up. Well, that shit might fly in the city. Good luck, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town full of good old boys, raised up right. If you're looking for a fight, try that in a small town.
Oh, you gotta love that solo, Darren.
I do. Song structure.
Just straight down the pipe.
I like it.
In a small town. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town. Try that in a small town.
Anything happened in the last 3 seconds? Let's just see.
No, so we just listened to the song and we watched the video, which on the radio station you can't see, but I'm sure if you're an Aldean fan, you've seen it before. So I have a lot of ways to attack this, but Micah, Mike is a professional music producer. Let's get your just sort of gut reaction on the song itself.
Yeah, talking music first, I guess. Like, I don't know. I was like pretty straight-laced, right down the pike. A to B, A, B, solo, guitar solo, which you got to love, Darren. Production is the production grade you'd expect from somebody at the top of the game inside of music. So I found it a little contrived. I found it a little bit like, yeah, that's what you would do if you're going to do that. So I don't find super enjoyable.
Well, my point is, let's put the song. The song is decent. Let's put that part aside.
Yeah,
from it,
and the lyrics are pretty, like, the chorus and stuff gets. It's pretty straightforward. Chorus, a couple verses. Like,
yeah, and I agree with everything you just said. Look, I grew up in a small town, and the general sentiment I agree with. There is some truth to what he is saying in terms of taking care of your own and being protective of those around you. And I think we all would agree with that. When you add the imagery that he has selected, which, by the way, they found out a lot of this is stock video. If you notice on the police riot, some of that was in a foreign language. It's not even here in America. So they went to, like, Getty Images and got some video off there.
Yeah, the idea of protecting the people you love, there's nothing wrong with that concept.
Sure.
If that's what you're saying, agree. There's nothing wrong with that concept.
On the base, if that's what it is.
Then it has
the videos
to be
where it gets complicated.
Correct. It has to be against everyone that's bad.
Right.
And there are a lot of bad people inside of all different sections of life.
Right.
Therein lies the rub of the video. Because I agree, in the lyrics, and I'll give my opinion on how I think things should be eventually. But in the lyrics, it's really just saying, try something crummy in a small town, and somebody that knows how to stop you is going to stop you.
Right.
Right? Yeah. So in that sense, the lyrics are not awful. I don't agree with them, and I'll give my opinion on how I feel we should go forth in life, but they're not terrible.
So people who are left-leaning, right, meaning Democrats, liberals, things like that, what they are saying, here's their take. Their take is that this song is racist. Their take is this song is a dog whistle. Their take is that this promotes violence.
Yeah.
The people on the right are saying, hey, no, we're talking about our culture of a small town, that this is pro-America, pro-law and order, pro-police.
See, that's where we get off the rails.
It totally
and I know
is
that's
where
you
we get
agree
off the
with
rails.
me.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being protective, being secure, having your granddad give you a gun, knowing how to shoot, living on a farm, having 3 acres of privacy, and taking care of your family. I'm so down. That frankly,
nice. Yeah.
I love that. I grew up fishing the hill country and being on a kayak and living on property.
I grew up hunting the country,
and, like, all I
country
do is think about every night, and I think about if somebody came into my house, what I would do to that situation. It's isolating our ideologies in both ways. You don't want to isolate yourself from the concept of where you're at, right? So think more expanded, and then isolating your intentions at a demographic. Let's not do that. I will say, again, this to me, like, if I'm watching this is the thing that frustrates me the most about this. It's just literally somebody that wrote up that they knew that we'd all talk about it. And they chose to do it because of that. I frankly think CMT pulled it on purpose. I frankly think they wanted CMT to pull it.
Yeah.
It's like getting your book banned, man. We wouldn't have talked about this song if CMT didn't pull it. True. I remember thinking that the second I heard it. The whole thing, to me, just feels like it's built to irritate you. And that is where I am out. Because at the end of the day, I want to build safety around kindness and love and inclusivity. So your small town can have everybody that lives in it and be nice. And if anyone is a real pile of junk, then we will take care of that situation, and they can be put in jail or go to their place. But that's where it frustrates me, is like I really feel like they just did this to piss everyone off and get some marketing, and nailed it.
Well, yeah, and if you're just joining us, you're listening to Darren Micah Show on 94.3 FM. So for me, you said they did it to irritate people. I think the opposite is true on the same side of the coin. I think it's pandering to the right at the highest level.
Yeah.
And I think he did it to spike sales and interest in his clothing line and his and everything else.
Yeah. My words were wrong. I agree. It's the highest level
well,
of pandering.
those are the same thing on two sides of the coin.
Fair.
So here's what I would like to say. Look, to the people on the left, right? And I'm more left than I am anything else. I would say this. If you go around and say the sky is falling on every little single thing, then when something serious happens, people are going to tune you out. And we're already there. We're already past that. I don't think the song, there's no racist lyrics in this song at all.
Yeah.
And to the people on the right, I would like to point out this.
It only becomes a race debate when imagery of one specific thing rolls through the footage of the movie.
Well, where they did it, too, with the history, there's been 2 incidences at this courthouse where people of color have been killed.
And there's 100% Aldean is having that conversation. Somebody's
I think
talking.
so, too. I think
there's no way they're just like, hey, let's. I always loved that courthouse down the road.
He's not even from that town. He's not. No, they went there.
So that's the problem. The problem is like, come on, man. Like, why you could say the same thing. Try that in a small town and make it much, much, much more inclusive.
Well, here's my problem with it. Not problem, but here's what I would caution people on the right to think about. So, all of that stuff, most of the things that aren't the stock video, they're from Black Lives Matter protests, right? With people throwing things at the cops.
And this is exactly what we're talking about.
Which is not cool. No one should do that.
Yeah.
There's no video footage of the January 6th insurrection. Right there. So he is choosing one side.
You know what else there's not any footage of?
Yeah.
The shooting that he was at in Vegas when
where he ran off the stage.
Multiple people died and he ran. Why don't you try that in Vegas and have a conversation about that? So it's like, that should be in the video.
It should.
Why is that? Then I would have been like, way to go, Aldean. I can back this because you should say try that in a small. Like, we got people that can take care of people like that because those people are killing a lot of people. We have so many mass shootings happening right now. Try that in a small town. Why is that not in your video, Jason? Why is that not in your video?
What Jason either fails to see or does not care about is this. Jason, when you're the guy that was on the stage in Las Vegas, when you're the guy that has clothing line that says "Let's go Brandon," and you put your kids under the age of 10 in those shirts on social media, and when you have a history of doing blackface, and then you come out with imagery where a young black man has been lynched and murdered and hung, it is your fair game to say that this is a dog whistle. It is we are not pulling this out of the air. We are building upon an image you have curated for yourself. That's where I think the criticism is fair. It's fair. And the people on the left, if you complain about every little thing, when something big happens, no one's going to listen to you.
Yeah. It's also like, find your moments. I'm going to go back to this, and this is probably as sensitive as it gets, especially for a dad and a parent that worries about this. But frankly, I was at the grocery store yesterday, and it crossed my mind. I thought, what if somebody comes in here and shoots up
I think about it all the time.
So,
and I don't think this song is strictly about guns at all. This is just about, in the video, he says, try that in a small town, and they do. Yeah. They cut to 2 guys hunting with shotguns. Yeah. It's very well timed and placed. Yeah.
I didn't see one.
He's doing more than hinting. Is my point.
I didn't see one edit of footage of try doing a mass shooting in a small town.
Yeah,
and we'll have somebody to stop you.
Right.
Because I believe in protectors, and I believe in people that have served and have a mentality that it takes to be in war. It's a real thing. We've all got family members that have served heavy levels of military.
Oh, me too.
Okay? But if you're going to say try that in a small town, let's go over the list of things that should be handled in a small town.
Right.
One of those being multiple styles of mass shootings.
Right.
And then we could just go down this
list. Most of them are in the rural areas.
Most of them are.
People don't realize that, but they are.
And I can't remember the last time in Johnson City there was a BLM movement.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm being That's why everyone's
I
livid.
see.
This is why
See,
everyone's frustrated.
I think
this is why everyone's mad at this. Because Darren, I feel like you. I just feel like this is the highest level of pandering.
Yes.
That I've seen.
If he wouldn't have put strictly Black Lives Matter video clips and as the predominant of the violence,
I mean, that's
in the
ridiculous.
video, if we would have had one of those, but then you know, carjackings or somebody beating up their wife or whatever, they would have had
That's what I'm talking
a
about.
wide
There we go.
or children
There we
abuse
go.
or dog
Spousal
abuse or
animal
dog
abuse. Like,
abuse.
come on, there's
If it would have had
400.
all those things, I think
Thank
we
you.
all would agree with that. But
Yes.
he chose the bulk of it is
Yes.
protests against the police.
And
it's not even that. It's Black Lives Matter. That's what
This
makes
is
it racial.
pandering and insensitive.
Right.
Now I'd like to get to the backside of this, Darren. I would like to get to my opinion on the lyrics.
Yes.
Okay.
And Micah is an award-winning lyricist. I like to throw that in there whenever I can.
Thank you. I appreciate
And thanks
it.
for listening to us. I know some people will. What's funny, what I know will happen is we're going to hear from
might
both
get a
sides of
call.
this argument about how
Might
we
get a
chose
call.
one side over the other, and we've been careful not to. But we're trying to break it down.
I am trying to not be as careful as I can while just being authentic as I can. I know you are too, because like
Absolutely.
trying to be just present to the moment. I feel pretty straight. What we just talked about is pretty straightforward. The lyrics and everything in the video are, if inclusive, nothing's that wild. Now, getting into the back half of that, I am a believer that the world can be a tough place. And we do have to be able to protect ourselves.
Yep.
But I do pretty much believe the answer is to choose love and kindness and inclusivity at most of the time, because the number of bad people to good people is aggressively more.
Yeah.
The problem is the bad people take up so much oxygen and our attention, like this video,
Yeah.
that we focus on it all the time. So I personally am out on, come on, show the other things that you could defend in a small town. 1, 2, I believe that violence like Sun Tzu or the other ones is the last resort, and you do need to be able to do that. It does need to be able to happen, but it shouldn't be your threat management towards anything. Right. That's not how you control any situation, because I guarantee the person at the shooting in Vegas wouldn't feel threatened by your video that you just released. Okay. So anyways, I'm going to remove myself from this.
Yeah. Look, so here are my personal thoughts on this. I absolutely support Jason's right to write this song, although he didn't write it, to sing the song, put the song out,
put it out.
I also support CMT's right to
100%. They're just a company. It's
they're
NBA,
not,
NFL.
CMT is not the news.
Nope.
It's an entertainment channel.
Nope.
They're a business, and they can right to refuse business by anybody
right.
they want to. And so whatever their reasoning is,
why
I don't even know.
That's why the Live Golf turn is now a part competing with the PGA. Okay, all right.
Right. The CMT can do whatever they want. You can't say we want to live in a country of freedom, of personal freedom and rights, and then get upset when somebody exercises that same right. But I support Jason to do that.
Yeah. 100%.
However, the only thing that personally irks me is this. I'll talk right to you, Jason Aldean. If you do this, and then you have the history that you have, and the imagery is chosen for a reason, and then people push back, don't act like you're the victim. Like, oh man, I didn't see this coming. I'm being picked. Yes, I'm being picked on unfairly here, and I'm being called this
funny.
and this.
I mean, that's
dude,
funny.
you invited this into your world.
Come on.
Not only nobody
invited
paid
it. I'll bet it was at the top of the marketing plan.
Well, why did he wait 3 or 4 months after the song, which came out with mediocre release? Then he put out this video, and now he's selling out shows. And I mean, the tweet where he replies, I looked on Twitter, most of his tweets get like 200 responses. The one where he talks about him being attacked has now 55,000 responses on it right now. That's the name of the game right there, man.
This is exactly how I feel like what happened as well. Is that like I didn't feel like the song was that amazing. I didn't feel like the structure was that, like, the structure was typical. The guitar riff wasn't exciting. It was just like a right down the pike song, and it wasn't even that hooky.
Look, his career is based on bro country, stadium country, write big hooks. And, you know, that's who he is. And I'm not knocking him. God bless him. He made all that money. But just don't get upset, people, when you put these types of images in there.
I don't care if you get upset.
Back.
Don't play the victim.
Yeah, don't play the victim.
Come on now. Come on now. At least be like it was, it wasn't intended that way or something. That's fine. But don't be like, what about me? What about me?
His response was, look, we will stand up for anybody in a small town, regardless of who they are, what race they are.
Then put it in the video.
Right.
And put it in the video.
Right.
You know? Put a couple people that are having some spousal abuse situations and some animal abuse situations and some like there's a lot of people that rob grocery stores, Darren, and gas stations.
Well, there's a lot of discord in the country beyond Black Lives Matter. That's all. And again, I'm not saying anything for or against BLM. I'm just saying that he chose a very narrow lane in his imagery in the video, and so 100%. People are going to comment on it, and then don't get surprised that they're commenting on it.
They pandered. Okay, well, I would like to leave it with our personal viewpoints on life, everybody. Micah Wagner's personal viewpoint on life.
This is not reflective of 94.3 FM Women Valley Radio, the stations, or any of the managers, or their sponsors or underwriters.
I think everybody should take up a form of karate, and you should practice it, hone your body, and then just choose love and kindness and make it the last resort. If you have to defend yourself, please be ready to do that. Do whatever practice you need to do that. But that should be 99% of the time, that should be the last thing on your list. That's my personal belief. I just think that I hope we're all strong enough to defend ourselves if we have to. But you should not be defending nothing happening with an act of violence. It is not a good way to live your life. You shouldn't be saying, try that over here, boy, and see what happens.
Yeah,
for
that's
somebody that hasn't done anything.
Well, that's what's funny is in his lyrics, he's like, try that here, tough guy.
Yeah.
But he's taken a tough guy attitude the entire song. That's what gets under my skin.
That's exactly.
Kid Rock has a song that was like, we all need to come together. And then he goes on in the exact same song, Democrats can suck it. And we all need to come together. I'm like, dude, do you not hear yourself?
This is my, like, we're trying to get closer, people. And I think the reality is that very few of us aren't. Is my belief. My belief is that very few of us aren't trying to get closer, and the rest of us are. And let's all just work towards that, because I promise you, it's a better life if you're that type of person and you've ostracized yourself or you feel isolated. It's probably not what you think, and most people are good and things are okay. Okay, like that's really I really believe that.
I was not going to mention this. I don't know how much time we have left.
We have 52 seconds.
All right, so I want to end it on a high note. So you talked about personal protection. Today is my oldest son's 19th birthday. He is turning 19. For the last 6 weeks, he has taken Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes. He goes 4 nights a week, and he's training MMA, and I can't get over how fast he has become and how fast he's learned the combinations. And he showed me the other day, my 19-year-old son could whip my hiney if he wanted to right now.
I took some
happy
classes.
Birthday, Dakin. I love you.
Happy birthday, my man. Good for you. And learn to be able to protect yourself. And most of those forms are actually defensive. They're all defensive. They're all responsive. Yep. So it's all like, you do this to me, I do this to you.
Other than maybe Krav Maga or something. But they're very defense-oriented.
But Krav Maga is like based around literally you're being attacked. Anyways, hey, thank you everybody for listening, for tagging along. We had a great time today. Intense topic, tough topic as always. Darren's phone is going to beep us on the way out with his alarm going off. Could be my alarm. Anyways, until next time on 94.3 KWVH Wimberley Valley Radio on the Darren Micah Show. See you later.
Bye-bye.